Hello everybody, wherever you are in the world. My name's John and I hope you are safe and well wherever you are. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and here in England the weather is awful. There's no good light, and I've had to put the house light on to get any kind of light for the film I'm making now. But what I thought I would do, because I can't go out, we're still on lockdown, we're on tier 3, is I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself, my history so far. Well, I've always loved the outdoors, ever since I was a little boy really, and my passion has always been natural history. I'm sorry, I'm reading from a script and it's the first time I've done it, and I really should have done it from my thoughts, but anyway, we'll have a go and see how it goes. I was working part-time at the age of 14 and working full-time when I left school at the age of 15. When I was 16, I was working at Blackpool and also became a volunteer lifeguard. I came back home at the age of 18 and began shift work in a mill. When Mum died, I was married and my wife was expecting our son. Realizing while working shifts in the mill I was not getting a lot of quality time with my family, I took a job 8 while 5, which freed me up in the evenings so I could do some studies. The daytime job did not bring enough money in to pay for the mortgage and raise my family, so after a couple of years of that I got a job working with the council. There was no evening work, so I could go to night classes, which I believe I paid for as well. Yeah, most of the studies I've done I've paid for. Where are we now? Unfortunately, the job I went on became a key job, and I was expected to work 7 days a week. When we got finished at the weekends, which was sometimes only 3 hours, we could come home. But then again, I was finished up where I was spending more time at work than I was with my family, and I hoped to avoid that when I came out of the mills. So we worked Saturdays and Sundays and got very few days off in the year. Eventually I found a full-time course at my local college, and after undertaking several more courses outside of the college environment, I was offered a post at college and worked as a technician until I retired. I have always been interested in new technology, and while working I took many computer courses, which when I finished work helped me to teach myself to learn how to touch type. Once I could type, I began to write lots of vlogs, and I have written blogs, and I have written those blogs for the past 18 years, I think. In 2019, a friend suggested I should write a book, which I published in 2019, and it's my first book, and it's called The Diaries of a Naturalist. Now, since 1977 I've kept a diary, and I wondered if some of the information in the diaries would make interesting vlogs. And just for a trial, I'm going to give the vlogs a try and see if anyone likes the short films. And you can see from this diary, 1977. This was actually the first diary I wrote, but prior to that I wrote lots of stuff in note form. But I decided that now I started a diary, I should be writing a page a day, every day. And I have, and I've still continued to write a page a day, every day, in my present diaries, which is, I can't find it, 2020. So there might be some interesting stuff in there. I would prefer to write about nature, but you know, some interesting facts might crop up in these diaries. Now, if you like the vlogs that I make, please click on the subscribe button, it's free. And also click on the bell button, and that will automatically tell you when the next vlog that I've uploaded onto YouTube will be there for you to see. Now, I think I can put the vlogs on Facebook as well. I think there's 4 pages there. Not quite sure how to do that yet, but you can certainly get these vlogs on my YouTube page called The Vlogs of a Naturalist. I've had several pages before on YouTube, but Old John's vlogs and things like that, but I haven't been able to fill the form in properly, and but I've done that this time, and so I've now got my own channel on YouTube called The Vlogs of a Naturalist. You can tell from my accent I am from South Yorkshire, and I intended to try and cover my accent up. For instance, in South Yorkshire, where I live, in the part where I live, which is an old mining village, they speak completely different to what I do, because they come originally, the people came to the pits from the Black Country, and there's still quite a few words in the dialect in my village that came from the Midlands. But I was actually born in Durham. My father was stationed there at the time, and but I have been brought up in Barnsley. Now, Barnsley people don't tend to say their H's, and they call the ladies by love. Hello, love, how are you going on? Now, I was going to try and cover all that up, but I've been told that I shouldn't do that. I should just be my normal self. Now, because I've not been going out, and I've been spending a lot of time editing and trying to find out how to make the vlogs better, I've done other things. And one of the things I've started up, a friend told me about a couple of weeks ago, was a Zoom that I could be enlisted to. And this particular Zoom is from a folk group who are in the Isle of Wight. Thank you for letting me join your folk group. And last Monday gone, it's now, what is it now? I think it's the 12th of the 12th today. But last Monday I was able to sing a couple of songs for the first time with this group. Now, I never thought I could sing, to be honest with you. But about 10 years ago I joined a choir which is run by the U3A, and the U3A stands for University of the Third Age, and U3As are all over the world. If you want to join a U3A, go to your local library and they'll give you all the information. But the U3A I am involved with is called BU3A because it's in Barnsley U3A. Now the U3A enlisted people 10 years ago, just gone 10 years ago, to join the choir, and I went to the rehearsal, explained that I didn't know if I could sing or not, and I was accepted into the choir, and then I learnt a few breathing techniques and found out that I hadn't a bad voice, and so I now find the confidence to sing with other groups. And as I've just mentioned earlier, the Zoom group in the Isle of Wight accepted me on there, and I was able to sing. But the thing is about this particular Zoom group is that it attracts people from all over the world. There's an American lady sings, lovely lady I have to say. There's a couple from Hawaii, they sing, Canada, and there's two more, America, and there's another one I can't remember where that's from. There's some people from down the Midlands of England. There's a man sings there. There's a lady sings in Yorkshire somewhere, and myself of course, and then the man that runs it, he lives in the Isle of Wight. But it's growing in popularity all the time. Now, for the first time ever in my life, I was complimented on my singing. At some point I might sing, but I have no accompaniment. I am trying to learn to play the guitar on my own. Very difficult while lockdown's in place, and what's even more difficult is that I'm left-handed. But I have purchased a left-handed guitar. Now, when I first got the guitar, someone loaned me a guitar and restrung it so that I could play it the left-hand way. Now, for anybody that knows about guitars, there is something called the action, and the action is what goes on between the string and the guitar, the space. Now, when you change the guitar strings round, it's a right-handed guitar to a left-handed guitar, it has to go through the top part, which is called the nut, and the nut is shaped for that particular guitar. If it's a right-handed guitar, it's shaped for that right-handed way, and so you don't always get the correct tones you really need. So eventually I was able to purchase my own guitar. Just bear with me a moment. So here's my guitar, and you can see that I'm playing holding it in the opposite way to what a right-handed person would hold it. Now, this guitar cannot be strung other than the left-handed way, and it's this cutaway, if I can show it, there. That's the cutaway that makes it so that it can only be played the left-handed way. If I wanted a right-handed one, I would have to have the cutaway, this piece here, at the other side. It would be held like that. Now I don't want to go too much into guitars because I have already put one of those out, and I've had some compliments from that one on another site. But if I just may give you a rough idea, I'll just play the bottom E string, and it's just stopped, and that for me is one of the ways of telling whether your guitar is a good guitar or not a good guitar. And if you change the strings around, you will not get the same sound resonance going for all that time. And I actually love this guitar, although some people wouldn't like it at all because it's got a thick neck. Some people like thin necks. Well, I don't mind, because this allows me to play in the classical style rather than just playing chords. So instead of playing chords, I play a lot of picking styles, and so I can get my hand around it properly. But anyway, enough of the guitar. Now when I'm not playing the guitar, I'm going to the U3A meetings. I write, and I'm in a writing group, and I didn't think I could write either very well, so I learnt a lot while I was in the group. I've been in the group 3 years now, and that gave me enough confidence to write my own book, which I published, and it's called, what's it called? The Diaries of a Naturalist. And all that's done is I've taken notes out of the first 5 years of my diaries, and which speaks about the time I was involved with a piece of land not too far away from where I live, at Carlton. It's called Carlton, and we turned volunteers in the main, and a friend of ours who did all the planning, and I'll name the names in the book. We did a 5-year plan down there and turned a piece of wasteland into what is now a wonderful nature reserve. It's flat for people who are not very good at walking. There's several walks you can go on site. There's now 3 lakes, and there was only one back in 1977, but we couldn't afford the money to make it into the lakes that we wanted. And briefly, if you ever go to a nature reserve and you see dabbling ducks such as mallards and stuff like that, it gives you a rough idea that the water levels are not very deep because they dabble. But if you see diving birds such as, I don't know, I just can't think of one off there. I just can't think of one. Let's see, what can I say? A cormorant, perhaps. Then you would know that there's deep water there. Also, if you see a cormorant, there'll be big fish. And if you're just seeing kingfishers, there'll probably be only small fish there. So it gives you a rough idea of what can be seen the water levels are correct. Down at Carlton Marsh the water levels are not very deep, so you get in the main dabbling ducks. But we did plant back in 1977 thousands of saplings, and now of course the saplings are trees, and so you get lots more nesting birds there. Now whatever you do in nature has a knock-on effect and changes something. So when the trees became mature, they needed thinning down, and one of the reasons why they've been thinned down at Carlton Marsh is that the willow tit was becoming scarce and low in numbers, dangerously low in numbers in fact, and so there has been a scheme done down at Carlton Marsh where they've thinned trees out and created situations for willow tits to breed, if I can speak. And I'm pleased to tell you that now we are getting willow tits in our garden for the first time for about 3 years, I would say, for the first time for many years, and they come early in the morning, so we're very quiet in the morning. They take one thing at a time and off they go into the tree, and it's a lovely thing to see. Now I'm going on a bit here for the first film, so I'm going to shut down in a moment. But first, the other thing is that I like gardening, and when we came to this particular dwelling we're in now, about 16 years ago, the garden, as you could imagine, was in a real state because the person that had the house before us, although a keen gardener in her day, became ill, and the garden had gone wild. It took us 2 years to get it right, something like, and it's now in a state where you can see something nice all year round. Plus it is designed, and my son designed it, to attract all kinds of wildlife, such as we have hedgehog house. We get hedgehogs going to various parts of the garden, and they don't use the hedgehog house but that's the look of the draw. And we have all sorts of different birds coming. I think most I counted was about 13 species of birds. It depends what time of year it is, and it depends if they're breeding or not, but we have, except for last year, had blue tits breeding in the garden for about 4 or 5 years, I believe now. Last year they didn't breed because our new neighbour was doing lots of activities in his own garden to get his own garden something like, so there was lots of disturbance, and unfortunately the blue tits didn't nest. But the picture that you can see on my blog page, my YouTube channel blog page, is, it took me 2 years to capture that particular photograph, and you can see that there's a blue tit feeding its young, and that was in our garden. Anyway, I will stop there. I hope that this video will eventually be uploaded for you to see. Now, over the coming months, I'm hoping to be able to do lots of technical editing, and at the moment I'm reading a lot about editing hacks. I've only managed so far to be able to do music and blank pages and putting scripts on the text on the screen, and scripts and outtakes and things like that. But I've a long way to go before my videos look anything like decent. And I hope that while you're watching the videos, you'll be able to see progression as I go along. Of course, it's much harder to learn when you're older, and I'm 75 now, but I'm one of those people that believe that age shouldn't be a barrier if your health is alright. You should have a go at something that you want to have a go at. So my advice is, if to anybody out there that doesn't know what to do, excuse me, as at a loose end, once the pandemic is over, contact your local library and have a look at U3A information and see if it's for you. What we do in Barnsley, we pay a yearly subscription, which is very little, and then we pay £1 every time we go to a venue. Usually the venues are well attended, and sometimes they're oversubscribed. So if there's enough people, they set up a secondary thing of what you might want to do. Now, don't be confused, don't be put off, I should say, about the title of the U3A. It's University of the Third Age. There's no studying at all, unless you want to do, because there is courses you can do if you so wish. But mostly, you can learn anything new that you want to learn. And you can do it at your own pace, and you don't have to do any reading or studying. Usually there's a coordinator runs it, and they do art. Well, you can do anything you want depending where you live, but in the area that I live, you can do at least 60 things that you might like to do. My wife and I keep it down to about 4 things per week normally, and we go if we want to go. If we don't want to go, we phone the people up and say, it's too nice today, we don't want to come, and that's acceptable. There is outdoor things you can do. You can go on long walks, short walks, nature trails, and so on and so forth. Now, I personally don't like to get involved with any of the coordinating. I prefer to go out and enjoy nature in the way I've always enjoyed it, because I find it relaxing to go out there with either my wife or on my own. And I like to ask questions, and I want to know why things happen, because I've been doing it a long time now. It's very rare that I'll see a bird that I've not seen before, so I want to know why that bird comes to that area, why has it flown through, why has it gone, and I want to know why things happen in nature, why things change in nature, so on and so forth. So I'm always asking the question, why? And you can do that as well if you want in the U3A. Anyway, I'm going to stop there now, but as I said before, if you enjoy the vlogs, please click on the subscribe button. It's free, and if you want to be updated as to when my next vlog's on YouTube, also click on the bell shaped button, and that will inform you when I've uploaded another video. Right, so I hope that some of the information has been of interest to you, if not all, and that you'll come back to my site again at some point. So until next time, all the very best. Bye.